Welcome to the Collide Kids Podcast, hosted by Christen Clark. This is a show for kids and families. You are going to meet new people and have fun while you listen. Let's do it!
Hey, y'all. Welcome to the Collide Kids Podcast. I'm your host, Christen Clark. The Collide Kids Podcast is a show for kids and families where we learn together how life and faith collide. It means so much to me that you're listening today. Thank you so much for choosing to be here today and listen to this episode. I hope you're going to enjoy it. Don't forget to stick around until the end of the interview where we have a fun segment called Let's Talk About It, where I'll ask 3 questions. These are for your family to have some really fun discussion time and continue the conversation of what we talked about today. It's a lot of fun. Be sure to stick around to the end of the interview for that. Well, we are just a few episodes away from the end of the season. We'll be taking a little break over the summer. I call it my Sabbath. So it's a time where I could keep producing episodes and it's so much fun, but I choose to take a break, rest, trust God, dream big, and get ready for the next thing. And it's also something that I do every year. It's really refreshing. So while we're on break is the perfect time for you to go back and catch up on some episodes you might have missed over this season or over the years. There's over 200 to choose from. So I hope you'll dive in and enjoy some of those. Be sure to follow us on social media. I'll be sure to update those. So if you're really missing me, there'll be something for you to listen to for sure. Well, I am so excited about this summer. I mean, summer is so much fun for so many reasons. And one of the big reasons it's fun is lots of kids get to go to camp. And so I thought it'd be really fun for us to talk about camp today. Camp was a huge part of my growing up. I loved going to camp. I loved working at camp when I was a high schooler and college student. And now I get to promote camp and send my kids to camp. So I'm really excited for our guest today. His name is Aaron Collier. He's a husband, a father, and he really loves all things Disney. He lives in Atlanta, Georgia with his wife and 2 children, and he has worked for WinShape Camps for 9 years. Aaron is a former children's pastor, and he is passionate about equipping and partnering with the local church. He loves helping church leaders connect with one another to further the gospel beyond their own reach. I am so excited for you guys to hear about WinShape Camp. If you've never attended them or you don't know what it is, maybe you've been to a Chick-fil-A and you've heard the words, then you're really going to love learning more about WinShape Camps today from my friend, Aaron Collier. Aaron Collier, I am so excited to have you on the Collide Kids Podcast.
So excited to be here. Thanks for having me. It's going to be a fun time.
I know. I always say that I love when I get to have my real life friends on my show. So this is so fun that we get to talk about you and what you do. Would you just introduce yourself to our listeners?
I would love to. Hi, my name is Aaron Collier. I'm a former children's pastor, and now I am the manager of host development with WinShape, which we'll talk all about. I have a wife. Her name is Karen. So it's Aaron and Karen. We have 2 kids. They're not Sharon and Taryn. We're not Aaron,
Come
Karen,
on.
Sharon, Taryn. I know, they're like little cute little family.
That was a missed opportunity.
I know. But we have 2 kids. I have a little girl and a little boy, and we love them dearly. Our boy is a little more challenging, but we've been told that your second kid is a little more challenging. So we could, that could be a debate for another time.
I love that. That's awesome. Okay, so I'm really excited to talk to you about WinShape because I hear about this all the time. I've never been, but I know a lot of people that love it. But before we do that, because this is a show for kids, I always ask my guests to tell me a joke. So do you have a joke for us today?
Okay, because I'm a dad, you have to have a corny joke, right? And
Yes,
so
absolutely.
it's more of not like a knock knock who's there, but you'll get the gist of it.
Okay.
So if you didn't know, Kristen, I'm afraid of the calendar. You want to know why?
Why?
Because its days are numbered. Oh,
the calendar's days are numbered. That's so
they
true.
are. Oh, that's a good one. It's got 30 days in its life. That's kind of sad. Or wait, no, 365 because it's a calendar. It's a whole
right.
year.
Depends on what. Yeah. If you have a monthly calendar. Yeah.
Maybe a leap
true.
year. There's some older ones too.
Okay. So first of all, let's talk about how you went from being a kids ministry leader to working with WinShape. How did that get started?
So in college, I actually started with WinShape, and I did it all throughout my college career. And then we started a camp here in Cobb County, where I'm located, where my wife and I got to be transplanted, called Cobb. And a church actually asked us, like, what are you doing after the summer? And we were like, we don't know. My wife and I wanted to settle down, have kids, and you can't really travel on the road and do that. Like, as a married
Mm-hmm.
couple, it's a little hard. So I started as a children's pastor for 5 years. I tell people that I've been with WinShape about 14 off and on. I tell them I took a 5-year sabbatical to work in the church. That is like completely opposite, I think, than
That's a
what people would
joke.
say. Yeah. I'm like, I think it's actually a little more challenging. But I
Right.
started working at a local church in the Atlanta area. And for 5 years, I got to be a children's pastor and loved it. I mean, Kristen, that's how you and I met. I met
Right.
so many other people in the children's world and learned a lot about the camp world, the material world, like all like, kids curriculum world, all that fun
Mm-hmm.
stuff. And then just a few years ago, a role opened up for me to oversee church partners at WinShape Camps, and it's like a dream role. So fun what I get to do, but it's a little bit of like did WinShape, then did the church, then did WinShape. Then recently, I'm that guy that was like, got asked by my pastor at the church that I go to, which I love. He's like, would you be our volunteer interim kids director? And like any good kids person, I said yes.
Sure.
I'm no longer that anymore though. So thankfully,
Okay.
got to pass the baton, but it was a really
That's
fun
good.
season. Yeah.
That's amazing. I love that. And you would be the person in your church that they'd be like, listen, Aaron is so fun. We need to get him in there. So I'm
It was a
glad
good
they
time.
did that. So when I think of WinShape, I think
Yeah.
of Chick-fil-A. Why is that?
Good question. So we're two different entities. We want to make that very
Okay.
clear. However, WinShape was created by the founder of Chick-fil-A. So in the
Oh,
80s,
okay.
in 1985, Truett and his wife Jeanette went behind Berry College. There's a beautiful campus where our like overnight camps are. They went out there with the president of Berry College, and Jeanette got out of the car and she was like, Truett, I feel like we're standing on holy ground. And like here we are literally over 40 years later, and the Lord has
Yeah.
done so much cool and amazing things within that. And so that's why you think of the two. Plus, we like serve Chick-fil-A on Friday because, like, why would you be created by the founder of
Right.
Chick-fil-A and not serve Chick-fil-A? Right. Like you got to.
That's amazing. I didn't know it was the founder of Chick-fil-A that
Mhm.
really launched this. That's incredible. Okay, so tell our listeners, what is WinShape, and how far out do you guys go?
So WinShape as a whole, the WinShape Foundation, we have 5 different entities in the foundation, but the one I work for that we're talking about today is called Camps. And so WinShape Camps, why are we called WinShape Camps? Like, what does that stand for? WinShape Camps is the name it comes from. We want to shape winners for Jesus Christ. And so you're not going to call it Shape Winners Camps. Doesn't really make sense.
That's hard, yeah.
So we call it WinShape Camps. And so we actually are a next level summer camp that helps kids have fun while learning more about Jesus. It's like all the things that you would love in a camp,
Yeah.
but we're not only located in one location where you may say, okay, he's from the Atlanta area. That's really cool. That's nowhere near me. We have all of our overnight camps and family camps are in North Georgia. We have traveling day camps that are in 76 cities all over the United States. So we go to
Cool.
California, we go to South Florida, we go to Lake Zurich, Illinois, and all the way right outside of Washington, D.C. So we're all over the place.
Wow.
And we're also located in Costa Rica and Brazil. We have partnerships with an organization called Thrive Farmers, which is the same coffee Chick-fil-A serves. And we get to
Oh,
partner with those communities in international cities. And so in total, we're partnering with about 103 cities, which is wild.
that's amazing. I had no idea
Yeah.
that it went out that far. Like, so that's
Yeah.
so cool. 103 cities.
Yeah, 103,
Wow.
which is a lot of fun learning all those names and cities. Because I got to learn the names of the cities. Then you learn the children's pastor name. Then you learn the like community's name. Then it's like being a children's pastor again. You have
Right.
to learn kids' name, parents' name, brothers and sisters' name, grandma and grandpa's names. And if you forget one, somebody's in trouble.
That's right.
Somebody's in
That's
trouble.
right. So you got to really be good about memorization
Yeah.
if you work for
Yeah.
WinShape. So tell us a little bit about, because I know they didn't start with international cities. So how did
No.
WinShape go from being at Berry College to all these different cities around the world?
So when it started in 1985, we started with a boys' camp. And then I can imagine the conversation with Truett and Jeanette. Obviously, I wasn't around then. So the conversation probably was like, cool, we're doing something for boys, but what about the girls? Like, that's what I
Yeah.
think happened,
Include the girls.
Yeah, include the girls. So in 1987, they launched a girls' camp. And then in 2008, we launched our traveling camps models, and we travel again all over the United States. And then, like, we feel like this burden, like, we get to partner with the local church, like, which is a really cool thing. We as WinShape know that we are not the local church, but we're a parachurch ministry that gets to link arms with the church and say, hey, we do camp, you get the campers and the volunteers, and then we'll make it happen for you. And so that's when international began for us. I've actually gotten to go to Brazil twice to do it, and it is so much fun. I mean, I don't speak the language, but I learned the language as quickly as I can. But that's where that heart began. And then we kept learning, like, hey, there's different opportunities in different areas. And for our international model, they do it really cool where they want to love and serve the community, and they do what we call a catalyst model where they launch the city to be able to do it on their own eventually, which is just such a cool equipping thing that we get to do. But yeah, we are all over the place, which is quite wild. And you can imagine it's a lot of fun too.
Yes, I love that. And so you were sharing earlier too that you were involved with WinShape before you got this position, all that. So what were you doing as a staffer for WinShape before?
Yeah, so at the very beginning of time, this is like my claim to fame. I kind of feel like I'm like literally, I was like a college student at community college, and I was going to be a worship leadership major. My dream was to be a worship pastor at a church plant. And my dad met Melody Malone, which is one of the lead singers of Passion Band. Her like uncle called my dad and was like, they need worship leaders at WinShape. Do you know anybody? And he's like, my son. And so for 2 summers, I served as a worship leader. Then I was a volunteer director, and then I directed for 5 summers with WinShape Camps. And so basically what that means is I oversaw the sites, 9 of the sites that we went to in our traveling day camp model.
Very cool. I love that. And so then you're like, I already know the drill. I already know how it works. So it was perfect for you to just slide into this new position.
Yeah, but in between that too, though, Kristen, the cool part was like in between going from working as a staff member to the local church in the 5 years of sabbatical I took, or the hiatus I took from WinShape, I was actually a church host. And so what that means is I helped bring in the team, and then our church is the one that hosted the day camp for it to happen within our local church.
I used to work at a camp. It was in the mountains in North Carolina, and I did that for like 3 or 4 summers in high school and college, and it was just incredible. Like, I loved attending camp. Like, I loved being a camper, and then I loved being at camp. What do you think it is about camp that makes this a fun, exciting ministry for people to be a part of?
Yeah, I think there's so much to it. So I think why I loved working camp, and I feel like why you loved working camp, is it got me away from like the real world for a second. And I was able to literally step back and say, wow, the Lord is like really powerful in the big moments and in the small moments. And I wasn't thinking about like my bills or my day-to-day life or having to be a college student. I was able to think about like how the Lord worked and the soil I was able to tend as I was like a summer staff member. And I know for me, and I'm sure for you, like camp truly did change my life. And that's not just when I went to RA camp as a young little boy. That's like all the way to when I was a camp staffer and I was able to see a first grader say, oh my gosh, like this totally clicks with me, that I understand why Jesus is my Lord and Savior. And I wouldn't be doing something for around 14 years if I didn't fall in love with it. Like if I would ask the Lord, in 2009 when I like went to college, like, hey God, like what do I think I'm gonna do at first? I want to be a chef. Yeah, I can't cook worth a lick. Ask my wife, it's awful. Literally, if I cook, Karen's like, so are we eating out tonight?
Yeah,
Like, what's the
Chick-fil-A.
plan? Yeah, and then I wanted to be a worship pastor. But then the Lord like was intriguing to my life, and then the Lord like tugged on my heart and being like, no, you're so good with kids, and like can't truly help me discover like what my calling was in life. And it was just so instrumental to me. And I think from a camper's perspective, it's, we get at our traveling camps, we get 8 hours if not more, a day with children to learn about Jesus. Our
Mm-hmm.
overnight camps, obviously, they're with those camps the entirety of the day. But within that, campers learn that they can trust and open up. And when they're
Mm-hmm.
able to do that, what that does for us is why camp's a safe place for them is because it creates an experience where they're away from all of the busyness of life, all of the distractions, and they have to focus in on what's in front of them. And that is truly God's word and the things that we get to do centered around it.
Absolutely. And I think for me too, it showed me, I think it got me away from like my parents, like, because I was in high
Yeah.
school and college. So it got me away from like, I had to like kind of be on my own and take care of myself. But also it really, like you said, it just really challenged me and showed me, oh, this is something I'm good at, and this is something I can flourish in or whatever. And yeah, I had amazing experiences, and I always talk about how great camp was. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about WinShape day camps specifically, because I want to know, like you just said, they're there for 8 hours. What do you guys do for 8 hours a day?
That's such a good question. I mean, we just all sit in a room and pray the whole day.
Yes.
I'm
No.
kidding. WinShape Camps for communities is for completed K through 5th grade. That's not rising K. Don't do it. We know who you are. It's completed K through 5th grade. And it goes from 8:15 to 5 Monday through Thursday.
Oh, wow.
And then on Friday, it's a half day. And so they arrive. We have what we call like village training where they get to hang out and have some fun. But then from there, there's multiple auditorium moments throughout the day where they get to learn about Jesus and experience high energy components where they are seeing a stage host that help drive really fun stage games, interactive music with our worship leader, and then our theme director drives the today's truths where they're able to learn them and go home with them. But there's not only auditorium moments. Don't worry. You're like, what if I'm not an auditorium person? We have a recreation for all kids. They get to go play outside in programmed components.
Mm-hmm.
I truly think that we had a shaving cream shortage last year because of WinShape, because we used so much shaving cream. It's
Nice.
so much fun. And then from there, they get to choose from about 16 different skills, and they do 2 skills per day where they get to go and cook or do science or build a rocket or be
Cool.
a secret ops agent, or they get to do painting and crafts and everything in between. And then there's obviously snack and popsicles. And then we send them home, hopefully super tired, like every parent desires. And they go
Yes.
home and they sleep on the way home. And mom and dad are like, could we package this up? And if we could package this up, what a gift it would be to them. And so it's a jam-packed day. Coolest part of the week, though, for our WinShape Camps for Communities teams is like on Friday, we do what we call Friday Family Fun Day,
Mm-hmm.
where at lunchtime we invite parents to what we call the closing party. And they get to come and see the recap of the entire week and get to dance with their kids as they're doing the theme song. They get to hear about all the truths that we learned for the summer. And then they get a Chick-fil-A box meal to go eat and have a little picnic as a family and to continue to talk about what the Lord did during the week. It's a really cool opportunity.
That sounds so much fun. And is this like a shaving cream fight, or is it like...
Oh, good question. So we play a game called 4 Quarters.
Okay.
And within that, basically what happens is there's moments where you literally come and get some shaving cream in your hand. You do shaving cream high fives or things like that. But, we're college students. We get excited. Why would you not just spray shaving cream all over each other? And I mean, there are many pictures of me with shaving cream all over me. And I love it. I'm like, man, it makes you smell fresh. I mean,
I know. I've done shaving cream fights before, and you smell it for days. You're like, I still smell. It's like in your nose, stuck there for at least a couple weeks.
I would rather that, though, than whipped cream, like all
True.
day.
That's very true.
I was pied once with whipped cream in my entire children's ministry career in the face. And then I realized that, oh my gosh, if I don't get this out of my nose, it's going to spoil. So never again. Never
Yes,
again.
if you get pie and they push up, that's a bad thing.
Yes. Oh, especially if you do like chocolate pie or something. I'm like, who
Ooh.
created this? Like, who made this decision?
Now, let me tell you my claim to fame. And this might be a first for some listeners who've never heard this story before. But when I worked at a church in Atlanta, and the senior pastor was Dr. Charles Stanley. And he was observing our VBS activities that day. And one of the executive team said, you should go up there. And so he they asked him to put the pie in my face because the girls lost the missions rally thing. And so Dr. Stanley came up and he was like, I've never done this before. And then I talked to his grandson, Andrew, and he said, you're the first and the last because I don't think he's ever done that again. So I'm the only person that was ever pied by Dr. Stanley.
That is a claim to fame right there. What a claim to fame.
I need to put it on my resume or something, like when I send it out, like just so you know who you're dealing with here.
I was pied by Reverend
That's
Charles
right.
Stanley.
So this sounds like an amazing, fun day. You said you're in 76 different cities this year.
We are.
Is that through like all of the summer, like June and July, or is it just a couple weeks? What's the...
Good question. So we send 9 teams. A team is like, it's between 25 to 28 college students. We load them up and send them off. How I like to describe it is like if you've ever wanted to go on tour, we'll just say if you want to be Forrest Frank and go on tour, somebody cool like that. We're loading these college students up. Big old tractor trailer trucks are following them, and everything comes with them. And what happens is they go to 9 different locations. And so for college students that are like wanting to do ministry, they get to see 9 different churches in one summer for a traveling model. And so for campers that want to come, though, it's from the first week of June all the way to the first week of August. So it goes the entire summer. Yeah.
And so did they stay at the same church for a couple weeks, or they move different churches each week?
We move every single week. There are a few locations located in the Atlanta or Virginia area. They may have a back-to-back week, but most likely they are moving to a brand new city every single week.
That's really cool. And I know you talked about this earlier about partnering with the local church. Tell us a little bit about why that's so important for WinShape Camps to do that.
Totally. So our hope in our heart is like, well, we have a few things that we want to do. We want to partner with the local church. We want to connect campers and families with the message of Jesus Christ, and we want to engage communities together. And in order for us to do that, obviously, we can bring a team of 25 in, and it's great, and we can teach a lot of little kids about Jesus, and praise God for that.
Yeah.
But we know at the end of the week, if we're not partnering with the local church, we're actually not doing a service for the local church and connecting them with their community. And so what that could look like is we require volunteers from the local church, and the volunteers come alongside of our staff. So if a kid is ready to accept Jesus, they get to accept Jesus with potentially someone from that local church that continue the discipleship journey with that camper, which is amazing. Plus, we don't like own any church buildings. Makes sense, right? We're not the church. And so we get to come within the local church and partner with them. And so a lot of churches will like choose to not do a VBS or do a VBS and a camp. There are 2 different things. You know, VBS is typically a morning or a nighttime model. This is like an all-day model where we handle everything, which for like a church leader is awesome. Like, you as a church leader don't have to handle registration, parent complaints, placement of people and skills or small groups. Like, we get to do it all. We do check-in and all those fun things. But yeah, typically for us, it's like we deeply care about the local church. And so that is why we partner with them in the heart of like, how can we reach every generation of camper, and how can we reach those that can get to camp and can't get to camp for many different means. And one of the greatest facets to do that is through the local church, and it's through camp ministry, which is incredible.
Yeah. And I love that there's like the overnight option in Georgia, but then there's also the not, because some kids don't like to spend the night outside of their own home. And so this still gives them that opportunity to have a camp experience without having to spend the night somewhere.
Correct. And like for us, like our daughter's going to camp for the first time ever. She's a kindergartner, and we're so excited for her. And she gets to go to our traveling camps model here in the Atlanta area for her first time ever. But next year, she's already told us, Christen, without us even knowing, like, hey, I'm going to the 2-week overnight camp. And we're like, totally, that's awesome. Because she wants to ride horses and play on the lake and hang out with all her girls for 2 weeks. Are Karen and I nervous about it? Because like we've never sent our kid anywhere. 2 weeks? Yeah. But what I also know is like the level of excellence that we strive for, and the level of excellence through our staff that we strive for, I can totally trust it.
Now, do you have like people that help out or like donate or do anything for people that can't afford to go to camp? We'll be right back after this. Y'all get ready to turn it up because something awesome has just dropped. It's That's My King, a high-energy praise song packed with joy, wonder, and celebration, brought to you by Dove Award-winning artist Yancey. This rockin' track takes a bold stand for Jesus in a way that'll have kids and families singing loud and proud. Originally made famous by CeCe Winans, Yancey puts her powerful spin on it, and trust us, you're going to want to listen to this one on repeat. Available now starting April 11th, so hit play, crank it up, and let the praise party begin.
Good question. So for our traveling camps models, we empower the local church to actually give out scholarships. So with all of our 76 churches all throughout the United States, what we allow for them to do is we say, hey, like if camp costs this much, if you want to help someone get there, you can raise the funds for it. That all goes through the church, and then we just invoice them later. The cool thing about that too is it allows the local church to be a bit of the hero in this. I would say they get to be the ones that get to say like, hey, like we see you and we want to help you. And for our overnight camp model, there are opportunities for people to like receive scholarships. But right now, what's cool about our overnight camps model is like for all first time campers, they receive 50% off their first time for overnight camps only. And so like if you're trying to send your kid to a 1 week or a 2 week experience, now's the time to do so.
Absolutely. I love that. And I love for people listening, they're like, I can't go to camp, but I love this ministry. Maybe they could get involved and donate or contribute in that local area where they live and help somebody go. I love that. That's really cool. Well, this has been so fun, Aaron. I've loved learning about WinShape Camps. I knew it had something to do with chicken nuggets, but I didn't know how to put that together. So I'm really glad that we know that was started by the founders of Chick-fil-A. And you guys have some incredible, it sounds like a really fun time. I'm excited for our listeners to check this out. Now, is it too late for them to register for camp for the summer?
No, not at all. So if they want to register or see where we are located, they can go to winshapecamps.org.
Okay.
You can either click overnight camps or day camps. And from there, it'll tell you, have a map where it shows you where everything is. So you can choose a city near you. There's amazing experiences all over. And if they are like, hey, like I don't have anyone that's of camper age, but I have this freshman, sophomore, junior, senior in college, that I'm like, they need a summer job and I want them to get out of the house. We're still hiring for this summer and we'd love to have them. And they can go to work@winshape.org and apply there for the summer.
That sounds like a really fun job.
It's a really cool gig.
Can I pretend like I'm a college student and jump in? That would be so fun.
Come on. We'd love to have you.
All right. So before I let you go, I always ask my guests to share a memory from when they were a kid. So what do you want to share with us today?
So I'm a rule follower to the core.
Same.
To my blessing and to my not blessing. And so I used to be in kids choir. Who wasn't? I mean, come on.
Yes.
And it was great. We were having a pizza social and, we were all going to the like fellowship hall because that's where you had your pizza socials, but there were no chairs. So, you have to kneel on your knees. Like we all know this like time in our like church. Like it's really great. Well, I was being given the task of carrying the Diet Coke, the 2-liter. So I don't know why I was given the task, but my friend at the time challenged me. He's like, dude, you should totally shake that up. Like, they're not going to know. Like, you should shake it up.
They won't know.
And I'm like, no, like, I shouldn't shake it up. And he's like, come on. And, they're all like egging me. I'm like, you can do it. You got this. So, like, the teacher's not looking. And I literally shook it up. I was like, shaking it up like anybody would. And they're like, yeah. The teacher's like, Aaron, will you hand me the Diet Coke? And I was like, oh, yes, ma'am. She's like, looking at me. She's like, oh, so sweet. And she turned and it goes everywhere.
Oh,
and no. the look of disappointment. I mean, she looked at me and she said, Aaron, I've never been so disappointed.
Oh,
and to this day, I feel like to my grave, I'm going to remember.
You remember her
Diet
disappointed
Coke.
Face.
Yes. I'm like, literally. So have I ever shook up a 2-liter again? No. Like, I won't ever. So
she might pop back out and be like, so disappointed.
I'm like, literally, like one day when I get to heaven, the first person I see is probably going to be her. She's like, he's here.
I love it. And so did the whole thing explode, or it just kind of like went all over her?
Oh, I mean, she confidently took that lid off. It wasn't because she had no
Like a
idea. So it was
slow.
like a.
Well,
Yeah.
everyone knows. Okay, that's her fault because everyone knows if you hand a child a thing
Yes.
of soda, you
Oh,
tap it and you
yes.
slowly she was not a veteran apparently. She was a newbie to not know
Well,
that.
yes. And she gave it to the rule follower, and I felt horrible. I'm pretty sure I cried. I don't remember what happened. And we ate our Little Caesars pizza contently. Probably I don't know. It wasn't as cardboardy because there were probably tears coming down my face.
Well, Aaron, thank you so much for being on the show today. This was so much fun, and I'm so excited for WinShape Camp this summer.
It's my pleasure. Thanks for having me.
That was so fun. I loved that story he shared. I'm so glad that he had the Diet Coke without Mentos. Have you ever put Mentos in Diet Coke? That's what I was thinking of. So I'm sure it exploded pretty big anyway without the Mentos. I loved learning today about WinShape Camps. It stands for Shaping Winners, and it was started by the founders of Chick-fil-A. I didn't know that. And I think it's so incredible that they are conducting camp in 103 cities around the world. That is an amazing thing that they're being able to impact so many different communities with a fun camp experience. Aaron said that camp is such a special experience for people because it takes you away from your regular day-to-day busyness and all the distractions of life and help you focus on how God is working in your life and in the lives of others. And camp helped Aaron discover what he was good at and what God was calling him to do with his life. Aaron said for WinShape, the importance of partnering with a local church is that they have an opportunity to reach every generation with the gospel, and the local church can continue that discipleship with the person through their lives. It sounds like such an amazing experience. I know so many kids are going to have a blast this summer. If you would like to find out if a WinShape camp is coming to your community, go to winshapecamps.org and learn more about their overnight and day camp experiences. And like he said, if you know of a college student who needs a summer job, they are still hiring. They can go to work@winshape.org and check out those opportunities. All right, well, now it's time for my favorite part of the show. It's our family discussion segment. This is where we get to ask a few fun questions for your family to keep the conversation going. So if you want to pause after each question and talk about it right now, or if you want to listen to all three and pick your favorite or chat about all of them later, whatever works best for you and your family. So let's talk about it. Here's the first one. What's one part of camp that sounds the most fun? You know, this would be a fun place for mom or dad to share their favorite camp experiences from growing up. Number 2, WinShape stands for Shaping Winners. What do you think it means to be a winner in God's eyes? And number 3, why is being part of a local church important for your family's faith? And how can your church help keep you growing after a big faith moment? Well, those are the questions for this week. I hope they spark some great conversations with your family. Hey, if you love today's episode, be sure to follow us on social media and share it with someone who might need to hear it or might need to learn more about WinShape Camps. And check out collidekidspodcast.com for more episodes, family resources, and ways that you can continue to grow in your faith together. And I know that this season is coming to a close, but kids, if you would like to be on the next season of the podcast, you can be on our kids only segment that shows up on our YouTube channel. So head over to our website to learn more about sharing your favorite joke or song or your favorite memory verse. I'd love to hear from you. And while you're on the website, you can sign up for our monthly newsletter, and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel to see the full interview from today's episode. If you want to support the show, a great way to do that is to leave a rating and a review. It really does help more families find us. You can also shop through our Amazon link or even send a little financial love through Buy Me a Coffee. All those links are available on our website as well, collidekidspodcast.com. And most of all, thanks for your prayers and for being a part of this amazing journey with us. It's been such a fun season. I can't wait for what's going to happen next season. We have one more episode this season, and then we're taking a break for June and July, and we'll be back in the fall. So don't miss next week's episode. It's going to be so good. It's going to be so encouraging. I can't wait to share it with you. I hope you guys have an amazing week. I know so many people are wrapping up their school year, and it's a busy time. I understand. May is very busy. So I hope you'll continue to take the Collide Kids podcast along with you as you're traveling to all of those band concerts and special activities to finish out the year. In case no one has told you today, I would love to be the first to remind you that God loves you so much. Thanks for listening.
You know, raising kids in the digital age isn't easy, but Bark Technology makes products that help parents keep their kids safe online and in real life. They have an app, a phone, and a home device that lets families set parental controls on their internet-connected devices. I love the app because it helps us manage screen time and blocks websites and apps we want our kids to avoid. It also sends alerts and gives us the ability to monitor texts and social media and even track your child's location. Visit bark.us to learn more about how you can keep your kids safe online. Use the code COLLIDEKIDS to get 15% off your subscription of the Bark app.